is St Kilda, one of Melbourne's most recognisable suburbs. Famed for its beach, its pubs and cafes, its cake shops, Luna Park. But it's got its fair share of inner city problems, perhaps the most difficult being homelessness. But this is where they reckon they've finally actually found a way to solve the problem of homelessness, bit by bit.
So there is this myth that homelessness is unsolvable, that it's always going to be there, that it always has been there, and we just don't believe that.
Homelessness doesn't really need to exist. It's a creation of public policy, and it's something that we can solve by public policy.
So how does it work? Instead of seeing homelessness as a huge, intractable problem tackled by different agencies acting separately, this approach is hyper-focused and super local, starting with outreach workers like Biggin. So Zach, how would you do your work in a program like this?
So I'd be walking down the street, and the main difference now is that I know who's in the area. So
and that didn't really happen before?
Not to this level. We really didn't know so much in one area, who was going to be in a particular spot, how long they've been there, what their story is, why they might not like to go to a service, or who they might work well with. And so that allows us to really shape the experience for each person that we work with and treat people with that humanity, I think.
In the US, it's a movement called Built for Zero. Here, it's called Advance to Zero, but they have the same aims: to make homelessness rare, brief, and one-off.
Can you imagine living in a community that has solved homelessness?
The key to this new approach is to list every single person experiencing homelessness in an area on a centralised record called a by-name list.
Built for Zero communities maintain by-name data on who's experiencing homelessness in real time.
They might come across someone like Shane. Until a year ago, he was sleeping rough.
Some people would steal to eat things, but I just went to bed hungry, you know. What else could I do, you know.
How long was this for?
I was on the streets about 5 years.
Shane and dozens of others have found a home because 16 agencies in the Port Phillip area teamed up. Agencies working with women or Indigenous groups or defence veterans, all working together to support each homeless person.
What we're doing here is that the service system as a whole takes responsibility and says, right, we are going to keep working with you until you get into housing. That's the big difference. And we just persevere. We don't give up. We don't let the person fall through the cracks. We just follow them. G'day Marcus, nice to meet you.
Coordination and accountability are vital. Port Phillip Council helped wrangle everyone to the table.
What we don't want to have is a situation where vulnerable people have 5 or 6, 7, in some cases, case managers across multiple organisations and aren't getting the best outcomes.
David Pearson leads the nationwide program. He says agencies have had to learn to work differently.
It needs agencies to put their brand aside and put the needs of the person at the centre of our efforts.
And once each person is housed, the ultimate aim is to keep tabs on people, making sure the flow of people out of homelessness exceeds the inevitable flow into homelessness.
We use this term functional zero, and the measure of it is that a community can consistently stay ahead of the problem.
Rosanne Haggerty founded Community Solutions in the US, where the approach has been taken up by 99 regions and spread into Canada.
Has the data to quickly flag new incidents of rough sleeping and can resolve those cases very quickly and sustainably. And now we have Australian communities showing that this is a model that's working there.
So what are the results?
At the start of 2021, we had a period of about 6 to 8 months when rough sleeping homelessness was at about 128 people. And now we've dropped it down to 92 people. So we're almost at 30% drop.
It's one of the first steps on the journey to ending homelessness, and it's the first time this has occurred in Australia.
So how significant is it that a few dozen people find permanent housing here? Well, 15 communities across Australia, including all of New South Wales, are following the same approach. So the potential is enormous. The ultimate limitation on any approach to homelessness is the amount of available, affordable housing.
Essentially what we're doing by not providing the housing is kicking the can down the road. We need to invest in social housing.
And just providing keys to a home isn't a quick fix. Leaving homelessness can be tricky. Shane still sometimes feels driven to sleep outside.
Yeah, some nights I'll sleep outside, like at the car park here down the beach or in the park over there. Or
even though you've got your house?
Yeah, even though I've got my house, yeah.
So why is that, do you think?
I don't know, it's like you're used to it.
In the meantime, this is a vital reset for Shane and others on these streets that could pierce the sense of despair around homelessness.
When you're homeless and you've got to carry your bags, your sleeping bags, whatever, people look at you really weird and, oh, he's homeless, or he's got nowhere to live, or they look at you. And so, yeah, that's a lot better. And when you close your door, close my door, that's it, the world's out there.
Hope is critical though. I mean, for the people who are sleeping rough, rekindling hope that there is a solution and that we'll stick with them until that housing comes is the first job of any assertive outreach worker.
And we know that at some point governments are going to sit up and take notice, and that will scale what we're doing. But for now, we're demonstrating it, that it works, and that's what's really so powerful about what Port Phillip's achieved.
Mary Gearin, ABC News, Melbourne.